remember playing intercamp and having a meal at Kennebec. So tell our audience what you call your counselors and where did that come from? You didn't call them their names.
No,
they were Uncle Bob and Uncle Steve and Uncle Artie Clark, Don's dad.
So tell me where'd that come from? Do you know?
Dan, I don't know.
I was thinking about
I
that.
think it goes way, way back because I've read stuff from the 1920s and they refer to them as uncle.
You know, there is a tradition within certain realms of Judaism where you call a close family friend an uncle, right? Even though they're not a blood uncle and aunt, and there's a sign of respect from that. And I have a feeling that that's where it came from, but it's absolutely meant to be a sign of respect, and family, and for so many
good point
of counselors, they were family. They were Kennebec. Don's father is Kennebec. And unlike, and when I did my research about other camps, when I was trying to put together the group to buy back and start Kennebec up again, one of the unique aspects of Kennebec was their ratio of educator counselors to campers. At the junior camp, it really was one for every tribe of anywhere from 18 to 20, 15, maybe 15. There was a school teacher who was running that group and would have 3 or 4 other uncles assisting him to run that group. And you didn't find that in a lot of other camps. Plus, there were usually 2 or 3 or 4 other, higher level educator counselors at certainly at junior camp. And then you go over to senior camp, and there's this bevy of guys who have been there 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. And some genius at some point in the line, they had another stretch of land, and they built something called the colony, which were cabins and cottages on the lake for these school teachers to bring up their families and have their wife and children on the lake, and that lured them back year after year. And this, I don't know, was maybe 15, 20 counselors year after year. They were the backbone of the camp. And we had great respect for them, and they were our uncles. And they loved coming back.
There was this really strong presence. We mentioned Don's father, Uncle Artie, and the family still live around the lake today. One of the founders, Charles Fox, his wife lived there, and I met her many years ago, and her daughter, Frances Fox Samuel, actually wrote a history of Camp Kennebec. And there's lots of families that live around the lake today. But I think, to me, we've talked about the counselors coming from educational institutions, but as Andrew said, it was the longevity and the consistency year after year. And we had former campers. I came back as long as I could until I ended up going into the workforce. But there were a lot of campers that did that. So you had a certain consistency, and it didn't feel like you were getting a fresh crop of counselors from Europe that needed a summer job, so to speak, and with a lot of turnover. You had an incredible consistency.
Take a moment to shine on